Matthew's routine is disrupted when he encounters Emily, a desperate 12-year-old girl begging on the street. Compelled by compassion, Matthew helps her, unaware that this small act of kindness will forge an unbreakable bond and alter both their lives forever. Years later, a surprising visit from 2 police officers brings back memories of that fateful evening, leading to a heartwarming revelation and a testament to the enduring power of kindness. Hello, my friends. I am Linda, and this is the Linda's Stories channel. I hope you enjoy this story. In the evening when the sun was setting, it cast a golden shadow on the sky. The golden light of the sun was all over the streets of the city. It was a busy day at work, and Matthew Evans was heading home in a hurry. Suddenly he noticed a girl sitting by the roadside. She was wearing old clothes that were torn, and her eyes were showing a light of hope and desperation. She was barely 12 years old. As Matthew passed, she called out loudly, "Excuse me, sir, can you please spare some change?" The aching heart of Matthew made him stop by the girl. He immediately put his hands into his pocket and handed her change. He gently asked, "What is your name, little girl?" She whispered her name, Emily. Matthew continued asking, "Emily, why are you alone, and where are your parents?" Her eyes got filled with tears. She said with a shivering voice, "I do not have parents or any relatives." She added that she ran away from her foster home because it wasn't a good place to stay. Matthew's heart shattered and his feet froze. He asked, "Are you hungry, child?" She nodded with a face full of hope. Matthew took her to a nearby restaurant and served her with a hot meal. Over the dinner, Emily started telling him her life story. Matthew was all ears and was comforting her with his words. Matthew and Emily said goodbye to each other and went their own way. Matthew also gave her some money and an address of a shelter house. She could definitely find help there. While leaving, she said, "Thank you, I can never forget this kindness." Matthew stood there and watched her leaving in front of his sight. Years passed, the memory of this meeting and the girl faded with time. Matthew got busy with his routine life. He keeps on struggling and enjoying life with his family, and often does volunteer work. Matthew was a kind man, and he always believed that small acts could be so powerful to change anyone's life. He always looked for ways to help the needy in his capacity. His memory was strong, but with the work burden and twists and turns of life, the memory of Emily faded. It was an autumn evening when Matthew was reading in his study room. Somebody knocked at the door. Nobody was expected at this time. He got uneasy and walked towards the door. As he opened the door, he got surprised. There were 2 police officers standing on his porch. The policeman greeted, "Good evening, sir. Are you Matthew Evans?" Matthew's mind was full of thoughts and he replied, "Yes, I am Matthew. Is everything all right, officer?" The police officer continued, "Sir, do you by any chance remember a 12-year-old incident about Emily? That little girl was begging beside the street and you helped her." Matthew remembered within a second and responded, "Yes, I remember her. Is everything all right with her?" The officers looked at each other and said, "Yes, please calm down. She is more than all right. We are here because she has been looking for you for a long time." Matthew got confused, and he was also curious to know the details. So he invited the officers inside. The officers told him that Emily herself is a police officer now. She was inspired by the kindness. In the recent years, she revealed about her past life and started looking for the person who has helped her at her lowest times. As the 3 of them were talking, the door opened once again and a woman came in. Matthew suddenly got the flashbacks of Emily and recognized her. She was all grown up, and it was unbelievable for him. He asked Emily. The grown woman said, "Yes, it is me." Tears showed up in her eyes when she finally found Matthew. She kept on saying, "I've never forgotten what you did for me and how you saved my life." Matthew also felt tears swimming in his eyes. He said, "I am glad to see you around, and seeing you in the uniform of a police officer is such a relief." Emily said, "I wanted to thank you in person and to tell you that I am paying this off every single day to the needy." The whole evening they talked about the things they had gone through so far. Emily shared all about her journey of becoming an officer. She told Matthew how she became a strong woman from a fearing child. Matthew's eyes were filled with tears and his heart was filled with joy and pride. Matthew couldn't hide his emotions bursting out upon Emily's visit. By listening to Emily, Matthew started reflecting his every move of kindness he made so far. One quiet evening, Matthew decided to pay a visit to the shelter house he referred to Emily years ago. This shelter house played a vital role in Emily's life, and that compelled him to get reconnected to this shelter house. He reached the building and walked through the door. A lot of volunteers were there to greet him. Matthew saw them assisting and helping the needy. The coordinator of the shelter house, named Sarah, came to him and asked, "Matthew, it's been years. What bring you here today after so many years?" Matthew told her about the recent interaction with Emily and her life story. Sarah felt a flood of emotions flowing inside her. She said, "I remember Emily. She was the toughest and brave girl of the shelter house. I'm glad to hear about her success." That afternoon, Matthew and Sarah talked about other stuff as well. Matthew felt a wave of purpose to help others. He decided to volunteer more often to create a difference in people's lives, just like Emily. On the other side, Emily pursued her career and kept on excelling. She was so dedicated to her work because of her past experiences and the urge to help others. She often volunteers herself to help and support the needy. One day, Emily received a call from a school and she attended school the same day. The school told her about a girl wandering around in the halls for hours. Emily saw her and approached her with kindness. Emily introduced herself. "Hi, sweet girl, I'm Officer Emily. What is your name, sweetie?" With hesitation, the girl replied, "Sophie." Emily asked, "What is going on, Sophie?" Sophie's eyes burst into tears and said, "I ran from my home because I cannot face the constant pressure and fear anymore." Emily's heart stopped for a second because she knew exactly what Sophie was talking about. She pulled all her courage together and said, "Don't worry, Sophie, you're in safe hands now. Let's take you to a better place." While walking to the car, Sophie asked Emily, "Why are you behaving so nice to me?" Emily, with her gentle smile, replied, "Because I also had that kindness when I needed it the most, and now I'm doing the same for you." At the shelter house, Matthew's efforts and his energy made this place a lot better. He volunteered himself to organise fundraising events and worked day and night to make it successful. One evening, a young boy was sitting alone. The expressions of fear and being lost were visible from his face. Matthew noticed him and went near him. He asked, "Hello, young boy. May I know your name, please?" The boy said, "Jacob." Matthew asked if he could do anything for him. Jacob replied, "I do not have any home to return and any relatives to go to." Matthew remembered Emily and he sat just beside him. He talked with the words of support and kindness. Time passed. Emily and Matthew both continued their journey. They helped others and stayed connected. They created a bond that could not be broken, and the chain of kindness goes on. As seasons change, the lives touched by the kind acts of Matthew and Emily experience change. The shelter house grew with his dedication. Emily kept on working to deliver safety and hope to many. Both of them struggled hard to make this world a better place. It was a happy evening as Matthew received a letter from Emily. She expressed her gratitude and heartfelt thanks as a reminder of the journey they shared. Matthew felt so proud after reading this letter. The story of Emily is clear evidence that kindness always pays off. It could change anyone's life. The worst could become better with just a touch of kindness. This story also shows that the strongest bonds between people are made out of love and compassion. The chain of kindness continued and touched a lot of people. If you enjoyed, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with a number from 1 to 5 to let us know how much you liked the story. Also, watch the video that is currently on your screen. See you soon.